How can you possibly pursue your dreams of becoming the next Jimi Hendrix when your guitar has awful strings? Well, after having played guitar for over 4 years and having changed my strings countless times, I'm in a position to inform you how to go about replacing your old rusty strings with shiny new ones. The first step will be to select the type of strings that you want to use on your guitar. Different strings sound different and can play different as well. The string's tone comes from a mix of 5 factors: gauge, how thick it is, metal type, the string's core, and the winding method. Gauges in the store often come in 3 types: extra light, light, and medium. The heavier gauges are good for people who strum really hard, play in lower tunings, or want to hear their strings sustained for a long period of time. The lighter gauges are best for beginners, for blues and soloing, and also for fingerpicking, because they respond better to light fingerwork. Next is the type of metal you'll be using. Strings usually come in 3 types: nickel-plated steel, which is a combination of warmth and brightness; pure nickel, which is a warmer, more classical sound; or stainless steel, which is resistant to corrosion and combines brightness and sustain. Moving on is the core of the string, which often comes in 2 types: hex core and round core. Hex core is now the industry standard, but are in general stiffer, brighter, and have less sustain than strings with a round core. In your local guitar shop, you will most likely find hex core strings, so this is one of the least important factors you should consider. Finally is the winding of the string. String windings are commonly found in 2 types: round wound and flat wound. Round wound strings have a shorter life than their flat wound counterpart, but offer a brighter sound and longer sustain. I know, all this information is overwhelming, but don't worry. With time, you'll get a feel for which strings to use in which situations, and what factors are most important to you in your playing. Now is the fun part. Once you have selected your strings, the first step will be to remove your old strings. If your guitar has a whammy bar attached to it, it's a good idea to go ahead and remove it. It'll make the restringing process easier. Start at the top of the neck and turn the tuning knobs until each string slacks and completely unwinds from the tuning pegs. Be aware that the wires can be very twisted and can scratch your finger, so be careful when you're removing them from the tuning pegs. Now, you can push your old strings through the bridge of your guitar, and once you see the ball, you can pull on the string to completely separate it from the guitar. To put in your new strings, first organize your strings from thickest to thinnest. This will help in making the process of inserting them far more organized. Next, turn over the body of your guitar and start sliding each string from the end with no ball, from thickest to thinnest, into the back of the bridge, starting at the top hole. Pull each of the strings through and make sure to tug on them to make sure that the ball of the strings, the small bit of wound coil on one end of the string, did not get caught in the bridge. Slide each string through their corresponding tuning peg. This varies by guitar design, but as you can see, mine goes from top to bottom, with the thickest string at the bottom. Once the string is through the peg, give it a little bit of slack and start twisting the tuning knob. This slack allows it space to wind around the peg without putting too much stress on the guitar itself. Do this for each string. In my case, I have little catches on the neck of my guitar, so you want to avoid tightening the strings too much before you try and put them underneath. Otherwise, it will be too difficult to try and slip them under. Now that you have your new strings in place, make sure to use a wire cutter to clip off the excess and dispose of it properly. And what do you know? Now you have shiny, brand new strings that will surely put your playing on that next level.